My peoples. My peoples. I'm over here setting up shop. But just to let y'all know, man, we're going to be talking boxing, this whole thing with His Excellency Turki Alalshik, Dana White, and, they're not going to recognize the sanctioning bodies. We got to talk about that. Let's see how this thing is going to play out. So give me a few minutes, my peoples, and we'll kick this thing off. By the way, look at this Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez prediction, man. Look at it. Look at this thing. Oh, I don't have no audio. Let me see. Yeah, no audio. We're looking at us. We're looking at us. Salute to everyone jumping in. Welcome to Box Center. Y'all already know what it is, man. We talking boxing. The
Salute
whole
to everyone
shit.
jumping in. Welcome to Box Center. Y'all already know what it is.
Hold on one second. Here we go. So we're gonna be talking boxing, my people. The whole situation with His Excellency Turki Alalshik and Dana White. Supposedly, not supposedly, I already saw an announcement. I think Dana White already spoke about it. The new boxing league that they have will not recognize the sanctioning bodies. And you guys, anyone who was on yesterday's episode of Boxing for Breakfast, you guys know I spoke about this. Well, what I thought was that TKO was going to be for the Turkey belt, and then Zuffa Boxing, they were going to be able to fight for the sanctioning bodies and all that stuff. But no, Zuffa Boxing is only going to recognize the Zuffa belt and the Ring Magazine belt. And the concept is going to be exactly what I said before. I said that they were going to have to win the Turkey belt, and then from there they would be allowed to fight for the sanctioning bodies. In this case, they're going to be able to fight for that Turkey belt, and whoever wins it will be allowed to fight for the Ring Magazine belt. So, I don't know, man. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced, my peoples, because how much weight is the Ring Magazine belt gonna have if some guy who got a Turkey belt got an opportunity to fight for it, when you have, let's say, a unified champion who has the WBC and the WBO, and he's not gonna get a crack at the Ring Magazine belt because you got some guy who got the Turkey belt over there? So I don't know, man. I think that we're gonna see how it plays out. It's gonna be interesting because, there's a lot of money behind Zuffa Boxing. I get that, but still, man, the sanctioning bodies, the especially that green belt, my people. Every fighter wants that green belt. It's just the way it is. Everybody wants a crack at that green belt just because the history behind it. That's why I think that this, if it's going to work out, it'll take some time before this Zuffa belt becomes something that fighters take serious. Right now, they're gonna go to that TKO league for the money. They want to make that money. They gotta make that money. It's gonna take some time before people actually want to go grab that belt. Like, oh yeah, I want that Zuffa belt. That's what really show who's the best. Now, because remember, the Zuffa belt champion is gonna be allowed to fight for the Ring Magazine belt, right? Let's say the Ring Magazine belt is now only gonna be available to the Zuffa champion. So if you got, let's say, the WBO, WBA, WBC, IBF, you cannot get the Ring Magazine title, right? If that happens, that Ring Magazine belt is gonna lose weight because now the best fighters out, they will not be able to fight. They will not be able to get the Ring Magazine belt. It's gonna lose value. Eye for eye, word for word, bro. I don't think this is good. Not all the way. I don't think this is good. Not all the way. I don't know, man. Honestly, I'm not convinced at all. Because again, that Zuffa belt, who's interested in that thing? Who wants a Zuffa belt? So it's gonna take some time before people say, yo, man, I want to grab that Zuffa belt. Whoever got that belt, it's gonna take some time. And I see what the catch is. It's like, oh, if you grab a Zuffa belt, you can fight for the Ring Magazine belt. But now, when you do that, it could get to the point where the Ring Magazine belt is going to be seen as something biased that is for these people only. Meanwhile, the best fighters in the world don't have it or don't get to fight for it going forward. So I don't know how that's going to work out. I hope that the Ring Magazine belt is going to still be available for the best to fight for, as opposed to just for guys in that TKO league. If that happens, that belt is going to lose all credibility. Eye for eye, word for word, this is going to shake up boxing in all ways. I mean, I'm interested in seeing, look, they're going to put together a lot of fights. I've read somewhere that they plan to have 12 cards in 2026. So they're going to have a card every month, the whole year. Now, who's going to be on it? We don't know yet. Dana White did say that they're going to sign a lot of fighters who have a lot of losses, but guys who can fight. They're going to sign some journeymen. They're going to sign some young talent coming up too, looking for opportunities. But how does this thing play out where you can't fight for any other titles in the major sanctioning bodies? Jake Tyler. Person A has a boxing and wrestling background. One person B has jiu-jitsu and kickboxing background. Who wins? Whoever lands the first shot, whoever strikes first. It depends on the circumstances. Listen, you can take any of those two guys and in the street put them up against a guy who's never trained in anything. A sucker punch will knock both of them out. So it just depends on the circumstances. Eye for eye, word for word. But not championship belts. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. That Turki, that Zuffa belt is going to be the one that the TKO league, the guys that they signed, that's the belt that they're going to be fighting for. And then eventually the guy who wins the belt, I guess in each division, is going to get an opportunity to fight for the Ring Magazine. But here's my question. There's a lot of detail that people are not thinking about. If you don't recognize any of the sanctioning bodies, and I'm the WBC champion, and I hold the Ring Magazine belt, what's going to happen? Are you going to take my belt and give it to your guy? Or if me and your guy can't fight, what's going to happen? So that's why I'm asking. Is the Ring Magazine, since the Zuffa champion is going to be able to fight for that title, Is the Ring Magazine belt now gonna be available only for guys fighting in the TKO league? I'm interested in seeing that, my peoples. I'm telling you, there's a lot of questions that haven't been answered, that are not being talked about. And I brought this up before. I was like, damn, wait a minute. So if they're going to have their own league, and I told you guys this, if they're going to have their own league, it's going to be similar to Dana White's UFC, where guys, they cannot fight, for the belts, for the sanctioning bodies, because they got their own belt over here. Just like UFC fighters cannot go fight, let's say, in Pride for a championship. Same deal. Let's see how this whole thing is going to play out, man. They're going to have to get a great, great roster to make it interesting. Because people want to see good fights. That is true. People want to see the good fights. But you know what else people want to see? People want to see the stars. People want to see the big names. People want to see the pound-for-pound guys. People want to see that too. So don't get it twisted. It's not just about the fights being competitive. You put two nobodies out there that nobody knows in a competitive fight, and nobody's watching it. It's a competitive fight. It's fireworks. Nobody watching it. It might go viral afterwards, but two guys can, blaze each other, knock each other out simultaneously. Ain't nobody watching that fight if they don't have no names behind them. So let's see how Dana White. Let's see how this whole thing is gonna play out, my people. That's all I'm saying. This whole new, and I want to point something out too, guys, because yes, there is a lot of money behind this new league and this new promotional outfit. But I want you guys to think about this, and don't forget it. The XFL and all them other NFL competitors have lost millions and millions of dollars. Why? Because they try to compete with the NFL and they try to do their own league. But the NFL been established. They got their fan base. They got everything going. So those other football leagues, they established some sort of a fan base, but they was crushed by the NFL. Why? Because at the end of the day, people want what they consider real football for the real championship, not this, this other lower level football. You guys don't have the best football players. You guys don't have the craziest highlights. So we're gonna watch the NFL. They went out of business on their own because they couldn't get it together. So just because Turkey and Dana's behind this league, it doesn't guarantee that it's going to be, they're going to blow up and they're going to kill it. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now that you know, I already knew that. I had a feeling. But now that you know that guys fighting in the TKO league will not be able to fight for any other titles in the major sanctioning bodies, how good are they going to be with attracting talent? Are they going to be able to bring over pound for pound guys to fight for that Turkey belt? Are they going to be able to generate that type of interest? Juan Ocasio, they playing the long game. In 10 years, they could be taking over, have the big money. But that's what I'm trying to tell you, Juan Ocasio, that, they have to be playing the long game. They don't really have a choice. But my point is, how much success are you going to have signing over the top guys when they're going to have to fight? They're going to have no choice but to fight for that Turkey belt. You can't fight, remember. Can't fight for that green belt or any of the others. And there's fighters who come up. I'm going to put it to you like this, my brother. Once you sign with that Turkey league, with that TKO league, you'll never be undisputed. You'll never fight for undisputed. Your name is not even to be talked about amongst the all-time greats. Just think about it. You're saying that Juan Ocasio, that boxing did it too, but think about the level of success. Who has really had their own belt and had any level of noteworthy success? So, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. You're saying boxing did it too, but what do you mean boxing did it too? With who? Who are the names that you can tell me of these fighters in these other promotions that are having success? Because if you're saying that boxing did it too, who? Name somebody, my brother. I don't. I'm telling you, this whole concept of, well, we're not gonna use any of these belts. We're gonna have our own belt. That hasn't been successful in boxing on a big scale. So we have to see how are they going to recruit the best fighters to go fight. Because that's the thing. For that Zuffa belt to become legit, you have to have legit fighters fight for them. You have to have legit champions. When you talk about who's the best in the world right now, you got to be able to say, oh, look, the Zuffa champion is the best. This guy, the Zuffa champion at 140, the Zuffa champion at the heavyweight division, they the best. When that starts to happen, you're like, okay, now, but how are our champions are the best going to be interested in that belt if it has no history behind it? That's why I tell you, Juan Ocasio, that they swimming against the odds. Because at the end of the day, when you think about boxing, boxing is a sport that is rich in history. And we always remember the past greats and the past champions and the guy that did this, the guy that accomplished that. So you have to remember, that WBC belt has been worn by Muhammad Ali, it's been worn by Sugar Ray Leonard, George Foreman. Come on now. Money Mayweather, Julio Cesar Chavez, Tito Trinidad. Come on, my brother. The best of the best of the best ever have worn that belt. Terrence Bud Crawford wearing that belt. And people want it. People want that green belt. And now you're going to say, well, you're going to fight for this Zuffa belt. Sign with us. You could get this Zuffa belt right here. Eye for eye, word for word. It's going to get hard for them. Right, the WBC belt is the title of all titles. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Once you decide you sign with that TKO league, you will never fight for the historic titles. You could never fight to become undisputed. All you could do is get that Zuffa belt, and then they say they give you a shot at the Ring Magazine belt. Which now the Ring Magazine belt is going to lose its legitimacy. Remember that I told you this, guys. Why? Because historically, the best get to fight for that belt. You telling me a guy fighting in TKO league, fighting with lower level guys, not being able to fight the best because he cannot fight the guys in the sanctioning bodies, you telling me he's going to get a shot at the Ring Magazine belt over a guy that could be a unified champion, for example? That's crazy. That's crazy. Eye for eye, word for word. You're right. Shakur Stevenson go over there. Do we not call him a champion now? If he go to the Zuffa, I mean, he's not going to be a champion if he goes there. He's going to have to win a title. Remember that if he goes there, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, because what I get from it is that if you're in their league, you're not going to have nothing to do with this league. They're not going to sign you so you could be on both leagues. They're going to sign you to their league. Because think about this, eye for eye, word for word. What you're saying would be the equivalent of guys who fight in the UFC being allowed to go fight in Pride by Dana White. You know that's not the case. Everybody that fights in the UFC can only fight in the UFC. Can only wear UFC approved clothing, UFC approved advertisement, UFC apparel. They can only UFC everything. It's not like boxing where you get a fight and if, a local barbershop want to pay you some money to put their logo on their shorts, you could get that little extra money. And if somebody else want to give you money to put a sticker on somewhere else on your shorts, you could get that money. Huh? In UFC, you can't do none of that. All of that is handled by UFC, what you wear. And this league is going to be pretty much the same thing. So, are they really going to allow them to go fight elsewhere? Yeah, go fight one of the guys that are not signed to us. Hell no, bro. That's not going to happen. I were for my point, nobody's going over there. They shouldn't, and they if they do, who they fight? Terrence Crawford, because he holds the belt, right? No, brother, remember, the Zuffa belt is not held by anyone right now. It's the TKO league. Terrence Crawford didn't fight for no Zuffa belt. He's holding the belts for the major sanctioning bodies. But once you sign with TKO league and with that Zuffa boxing promotion, they do not recognize the major sanctioning bodies. So if Crawford was to sign with them, he's either gonna be stripped of the titles, or when he fight under their promotion, those titles will not be on the line. Juan Ocasio, those belts don't mean nothing no more. The money is more important in the new fighters coming up. Juan Ocasio, I know that you feel like that because Canelo got beat up by Terrence Crawford, but you have to understand, Shakur Stevenson is a young fighter. He wants the belts. Teofimo Lopez wants the belts. Abdullah Mason is about to fight for his first belt. Floyd Schofield wants a belt. All of the young champions want belts. So what you talking about? That's fake news. That's only the Tankomaniacs. Tank got you believing that, but nobody else believe you. I'm sorry, Juan Ocasio. A lot of fighters want to be great. A lot of fighters want belts. A lot of fighters want that green belt specifically. So that's the Tankomaniacs. Tankomaniacs like belts don't matter anymore. Well, they definitely matter when you thought Canelo was gonna knock Crawford out. But you guys have to understand it. This is gonna be a major challenge for them to recruit the best fighters. Right now, there's a reason why they're recruiting a lot of journeymen, a lot of guys with a lot of losses. They're recruiting young talent, young guys coming up. Why? Because if you're looking for an opportunity, you sign with anybody. You're looking for an opportunity. You're looking to make money. But I'm telling you guys what's going to happen. You're going to see a lot of young fighters looking for an opportunity sign with this league. And as soon as they make a name for themselves and their contract is up, what they're going to do? They're going to leave. They're going to go sign with Golden Boy. They're going to go sign with Matchroom. They're going to go sign with Top Rank. They're going to sign with somebody that's going to give them an opportunity to win the real titles. Because all you have to do is look at all of the young fighters. That's how you can see when somebody wants to float fake narratives. Juan Ocasio saw that Tank Davis is fighting Jake Paul, and he's supporting that. And he saw that come on now, Canelo got beat up by Terrence Crawford. Crawford is the undisputed champion. He hates that. So now he's like, well, belts don't mean nothing. Nobody wants belts. But look at all the young fighters, my peoples. They all want to be champions. Look at, like I said, look at Shakur Stevenson. Look at Teofimo Lopez. Look at Devin Haney. Look at Brian Norman Jr. Abdullah Mason coming up. Floyd Schofield coming up. Look at all these young. Look at Carmel Moulton already talking about that young. Already talking about he wants them belts. So all the young fighters you see coming up, they ain't not talking about no Turkey belt. They ain't not talking about none of this goofballery. They talking about the historic. So this stuff about he's shifting. Nah, Juan Ocasio, that's only shifting inside your head. Ain't nothing shifting. We still see all the fighters wanting to be the best and wanting to fight the best. Ain't nothing shifting so far. Will it shift? I don't know. You never know. Let's see. But when you say shifting, that's you pushing your narrative. That's what happens, Juan Ocasio. You're a narrative pusher. So you want things to go the way you want them. You hate the fact that Terrence Crawford is the face of boxing. That's all it is, bro. Eye for eye, word for word. Yo, Jay, out of curiosity, you think Devin going to fight Abdullah Mason If he gets the belt, he's saying he going up to that weight class. I mean, we have to understand right now, Devin Haney, of course, is focused on Brian Norman Jr. at the welterweight division. Abdullah Mason, he hasn't even. He's gonna fight for his first title at 135. So honestly, it doesn't even make sense to match them up. They're two divisions apart. They're both have a. Abdullah Mason's gonna fight for his first title at 135. So he's not gonna be a welterweight anytime soon. So honestly, it doesn't even make sense to match them up at this point. Juan Ocasio, all these great matchups because of Turkey. Yes, but all these great matchups that you're talking about are happening within the sanctioning bodies. They're happening with fighters that are not signed to that Turkey league. That's what you're not understanding. None of those fights could be made in his league because none of those fighters are signed to his league, Juan Ocasio. So you bring in up fights that they're making, but those are also fights that they won't be able to make. So in case you don't know, Juan Ocasio, this Turkey league right now, all they're signing is a lot of journeymen, a lot of guys with a lot of losses, and young talent that are gonna try to make a name for themselves. Guys that are gonna be making their debut, guys that are gonna be 2-0, 3-0, stuff like that. You're talking about the great fights that they made. They're not gonna make those type of fights, brother, with people with journeymen and up and comers. What are you talking about, bro? They not gonna make that type of fight. Eye for eye, word for word. Not Devin, Haney, Davis. Oh, will Tank Davis fight Abdullah Mason? Hell no, bro. Hell. Tank Davis is not trying to fight anybody. That's it. He already made that clear for all of us. He already made it clear that at this point, he no longer wants to fight any of the best. Juan Ocasio, you're saying that they're playing the long game. Fine, we could say that they're playing the long game. But you're assuming that they're going to be able to attract the best. And you're saying that there's a shift in boxing. I don't know where you're getting that from. That's all inside your head. All inside your head. What you don't understand is that the shift that you're talking about, a guy can literally sign with them for 2 years, make a little bit of money, make a little bit of name for themselves, and guess what? Not re-sign with them and go fight for the real belts. That's what you're not understanding. You see that long game that you're talking about, Juan Ocasio? That's the same long game that all them other football leagues tried out. Oh, we're going to play the long game. Not understanding. You're not understanding that it's hard to fight history. Eye for eye, word for word. I'm talking about the three brothers that just jumped old boy in the back. I didn't see that, my brother. I gotta see it. Oh, wait a minute. You're talking about Keyshawn Davis and them. So let me tell you something. Now I know what you're talking about. My bad. Abdullah Mason and Keyshawn Davis, they would have ended up fighting because Abdullah was his mandatory, right? But Keyshawn couldn't make weight. He moved up to 140. And Abdullah's now going to get a title at 135. I think if Abdullah goes up to 140 while Keyshawn is still there, they'll fight. They'll fight. Keyshawn wanted to make that fight. Imagine, he can't make weight. But they'll make that fight. Trust me. Boxing Junkie. The best ain't shifting to Zuffa, especially Dana trying to eliminate the Ali Act. I'm trying to tell you, Boxing Junkie, the best ain't going over there. You think people want to be... Juan Ocasio's like, they're going to get the bag. Jake Paul's going to give Tank Davis the bag. That's a good fight to make. Nah, not Juan Ocasio. That's you social media boxing fans that think like that. Real boxing fans ain't falling for that. You're not going to be able to push that narrative on nobody. People want to see the real titles. People want to see the pound for pound guys. People want to see the best of the best fight each other. And Zuffa Boxing not going to be able to give them that. Boxing Junkie, the voiceover is wow. I got to give it to him, bro. To be honest, I'm doing a voiceover right now because I'm testing the new internet that I got. So I want to see if it works real good because it's portable and And let me put you on, Boxing Junkie. Let me put you on. It's only you right now. Ain't nobody in here. But let me put you on to something real interesting, bro. In November, there's going to be a national tournament here in the Dominican Republic. And it's going to be like a lot of guys that are the best in the country. A lot of the best elite level amateur boxers in the country are going to be at that tournament. Well, your boy Jay Smith was invited to go over there. I'm gonna be covering that event. I'm gonna be bringing you guys that action live, bro. So for those who never watch amateur boxing, I know that amateur boxing is not really televised like that in the U.S. Especially. I'm gonna be bringing you guys, man, some elite level amateur boxing. I'm gonna be right there, and man, I can't wait. I can't wait. There's a couple of tournaments that are coming up that I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna be bringing you guys the action live. So because of that, I'm getting some equipment that'll allow me to be live at any location, and I'm testing it out right now. Eye for eye, word for word. Is he trolling you? Did Jake Paul hire him? I mean, sometimes people are just trying to get attention and all that good stuff. But Boxing Junkie, man, this action is gonna be serious, bro. And by the way, check this out, Boxing Junkie. Check this out, cause I'm always trying to bring people some exclusive shit, something different. Tomorrow, I'm gonna have, wow, I can't remember her first, Mrs. Daniels. She's a USA certified amateur boxing judge, and she's gonna join me in tomorrow's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. So we're gonna talk about the scoring system. We're gonna talk about how you gotta land your punches for them to score. If you see amateur fights, you see that sometimes they hit each other a bunch of times, and the score is only 1-0. It's like, damn, what happened? So I'm gonna have the opportunity to talk to a judge who can tell us, hey, this is how we score the fights. This is the punches that count. These are the ones that don't count. Very interesting conversation is going to be taking place tomorrow. So you guys do not want to miss tomorrow's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Boxing Junkie. Amateur boxing is way different than the pros. Definitely different than the pros. And you know what? This is the reason why around the world you see that they have better amateur programs than in the U.S. You may notice that the U.S. in their amateur programs, they're not dominating around the world like they used to. It's been years and years since the U.S. actually dominates on the world stage. Let me give you an example. The Dominican Republic got 2 silver medals in the last games, or maybe a silver and a bronze. I can't remember. But we got 2 medals in boxing in the last Olympic Games. The USA got 1 medal in the last games. Let that shit sizzle in your spirit, my peoples. The Dominican Republic fits inside of Texas more than 10 times. We fit inside the state of Texas more than 10 times. And we got more medals in the Olympic Games than the U.S. Imagine that. This little third world country. So, the amateur program over here, my peoples, I shit you not. It's serious. It's real serious out here. These kids can fight. In fact, we had the Pan Am gold medalist, I think in 2022. He won the Pan Am gold medal, and the gold medal match was against the USA. He beat I can't remember the name. I'm assuming that kid is probably pro by now. But he beat an American boxer to win the Pan American Games, the gold medal. His name is Rodrigo Marte. Right now, I think he's 3-0 or 4-0. I actually had the opportunity, the honor and the privilege to cover his debut fight, his first fight as a professional. Matter of fact, I want to show you guys some highlights from Rodrigo Marte, the Pan American gold medalist from Dominican Republic. And I'm showing you this guy because guess what? He's going to be a future world champion. Remember that name, my peoples, that I told you this. Rodrigo Marte is a future world champion. He's Dominican, Pan American gold medalist. Right now he has, I think he's 3-0, 4-0. But let me look him up. I want you guys to check him out. But real talk, man, this guy can fight. This guy can fight, my peoples. Let me show you real quick. Let me show you real quick. Boxing Junkie. There have been more dummy boxers turning pro the last 10 years. What division? I'll tell you if he's future world champion. Oh, no, 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 no. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Because I already told you that he is a future world champion. So if you want to confirm it, you can go ahead. But as soon as you see him, you're going to be like, shit, Jay, you was right. I'm going to show him a video. I'm going to show you a video of him right now. His name listed is spelled just like that. Rodrigo Marte. And by the way, my peoples, look at this. Brian Norman Jr. sat down with me and talked boxing for a minute. And we chopped it up for a bit about Brian Norman Jr. wanting to fight Boots. But let me keep going back and find this, what I'm trying to show you guys. I want you guys to see what Rodrigo Marte is all about. So again, my people, the amateur boxing program here in the Dominican Republic is serious. It's serious. It's real shit. That's why I'm telling you, when you see that we won more medals in the Olympic Games than a lot of big countries, than a lot of advanced countries, that tells you right there how serious amateur boxing is over here. It's not a game. It's not a game. Boxing Junkie, what division? Off the top of my head, I can't remember right now. But let me find them real quick. Oh, here. Oh, no, listo para su combate. Hold on. Let me find them real quick. Here we go, my people. Check this out. What I'm about to show you, and I'm putting you guys on because I'm pretty sure you guys don't know him. So I'm putting you guys on Rodrigo Marte. Boxing Junkie, after you watch right now, you could tell me if you think he's gonna. Watch this. Aquí está el campeón, medallista de oro. Bueno, mi nombre es Rodrigo Marte de la Rosa, campeón panamericano, campeón centroamericano, olímpico. Bueno, en esta tarde, el día de hoy, vamos a estar haciendo mi debut como boxeador profesional. Espero que estén atentos, que me apoyen. Estamos activos. Hay una pregunta, hermano mío. ¿Hay alguien allá en la República Dominicana, ya que usted está representando nuestra bandera con orgullo, que tú quisieras mandarle un saludo por allá? Bueno, en primer lugar, dar las gracias a Dios y darle saludo a mi familia, que están atentos a mis peleas. Y bueno, y también a mis amistades, mis amigos, mi familia que están pendientes de mí, de las peleas. Espero que puedan verla y que puedan estar presentes. Mira, yo te voy a decir algo, Rodrigo. Yo quisiera desearte buena suerte,
Porque yo sé que tú no la vas a necesitar. No voy a gastar palabras en eso, mi hermano. Hagan lo que usted vino a hacer aquí. Ya ustedes lo oyeron, ustedes mismos lo que vino a hacer.
My peoples, I promise you, this kid is gonna be a world champion. Rodrigo Marte. I'm putting you on before you. I know you guys never heard of him, but you will. Y'all know me, Jay Smith. I don't miss. I don't miss, my peoples. One day, you're gonna see him fight for a title. You're gonna see him on TV, and you're gonna be like, "Yo, Jay showed me that guy when he was." This is where he was making his pro debut. I actually flew with the team to Curacao, beautiful island, and I got to capture his pro debut, man. By the way, let me just break your heart right now. You're not gonna see the fight. They didn't allow me. I got some of it at some point. Remember the name, my people. Rodrigo Marte.
Estoy súper emocionado, estoy nervioso, yo ni sé qué sentir ahora mismo. Entonces, yo quiero ir antes de tu salida, hacer la historia, que empiece la historia de verdad tuya. Tú quieres decir algo a tu público, a todo el mundo que te apoya, a la República Dominicana.
Bueno, quiero soltarle a la gente de República Dominicana y al mundo entero, ya que soy reconocido por el mundo entero, que Rodrigo Marte inicia su carrera profesional, que me apoye y que me dé seguimiento, que Rodrigo Marte dará sorpresa en el profesional y pronto sé que vamos a lograr nuestro objetivo, que es el campeón mundial.
I think he do got an IG. Let me see.